this up, boy. Okay, we have a very exciting day ahead of us. Now, as you've seen in my last video, I've been riding a road bike, which I've actually had for about the last 4 or 5 years now. The story of getting that bike, actually, I got hit off my old bike, which was my first ever road bike. I think I paid about £300 for it. It was an aluminium frame, like super basic bike. I got hit by a car. I'm obviously okay because here I am. And they gave me about, I think it's £1,200 through the insurance for the value of that bike, which I then used to buy the bike I have now a few years back. And I've been doing a lot of research recently. Now, obviously, taking on an Ironman, 112 miles, I need every advantage I can get on a bike. So that took me to the laptop where I was researching, obviously, the difference between having a road bike and a triathlon bike. And it turns out the difference is pretty big. So most people suggest that you can save about 20 to 30 minutes over the course of 112 miles on a triathlon bike, obviously because of the aerodynamics, the positioning, and everything that goes with it. Not only that though, they also suggest that you come off the bike with slightly fresher legs ready for the marathon. So my first point of call was to go to my followers on Instagram and ask if anyone had a triathlon bike for me to borrow, because they are very expensive. Brand new for a half decent one, what I've kind of found is that you're looking at around £3,000 upwards. So that was not within my budget right now, being a father and already committing to all the other finances that an Ironman brings. So I asked if anyone had one for me to potentially rent for a few weeks, and I wasn't very successful with that. So I started looking online through triathlon groups and eBay and Facebook Marketplace, etc. And I found this. It's a Canyon Speedmax. I really like the look of it. It's the size I need. It's within budget. I had a call with the guy yesterday. It all looks good. So I'm about to leave, have a look at it in person. So hopefully we're coming back with a new bike today. Engines on. So I actually love road trips. So the journey I'm about to go on is about 2.5 hours away. I actually have family nearby to where I'm picking this bike up from, fingers crossed. So I'm going to stop in to see them for a cup of tea, and I'm just going to chuck a podcast on. I found a really good one recently. Talks about going over Ironman, preparation for that, and has a few tips and tricks in there. So I'll be listening to that on the way, and then I'll probably just put on some Joe Rogan, as that's usually pretty good for a road trip for me.
The other example is do 25-30 minute warm-up, start the race, you are ready. There's a world outside every darkened door, the blues won't haunt you anymore.
If you've ever watched The Office, the US version, of course, you're my kind of people for one, but two, this reminds me of that scene where he takes Holly to her new home. They're in the van with Daryl? Is it Daryl? And they're singing the song on repeat. It's so funny. Boom. So take a look at my brand new, well, brand new to me, it's not actually brand new, Canyon Speedmax CF, whatever those words mean. Here it is. So as you can see, it's an absolute beauty of a bike. I'm yet to tweak it so it fits me properly, but I'm going to be doing that tomorrow before getting out for a big ride on Sunday to get used to the new TT position. Because as you can see here, the seat post is a lot more vertical and higher compared to the handlebars, which then brings you into a more horizontal position for more aerodynamics. So looking forward to getting on and testing this out. Okay, here we are, Saturday. Yesterday was Friday when we picked up the bike. The bike is still in my office now before I get to do some work to it. And today we've actually switched around the training this weekend. So I'd normally do a long bike and short run on a Saturday and a swim and a run on a Sunday. Whereas this weekend, because of weather and because I need to do some work to that bike to fit it to my spec, we are switching around. So today I'm at the lake, we're about to do a 3k swim followed by a 14-mile run, and then we're leaving the big bike for tomorrow once we've done the work later on this evening. We're nearly there with the wetsuit. Doesn't get any easier. The bloody zip is jammed. There we go. There we go. I hope that's done. 3k swim about to commence. I'll check in with you to see how we go. I've actually got some earphones, so I'm gonna listen to some tunes whilst we go. All right, swim complete, just under 3k, because I got in and my head just wasn't in that today. Last weekend I actually hit a PB distance of 3.2k, which leaves me just about 600 meters to hit for the Ironman distance swim. So I'm confident in the next few weeks that I'm going to be doing that. Excuse me. So I have a 4k training swim in a couple of weeks time, but that was supposed to be 3k. I did just below, wasn't really feeling it, and with the weather being like overcast, and I got woke up quite a lot last night from Theo. Still got a 2.5k done, so still happy with that. And of course now we've got to do the 14-mile run, which I'm going to do kind of around here, around the lake. I think there's like a 4-mile loop, so we'll be doing that a few times to get the miles in, and we'll update you as soon as we're ready to go. Just need to get changed, then we're good. Right, changed, ready to go, physically at least, not mentally. This is going to be a grind, I can tell you that. 14 miles. Let's go, let's do this. All right, 1 lap done, which was just over 4 miles. And to be honest, I think I'm only going to do 2 of them today because I'm really not feeling it. The sun has come out, which is a positive, but RPE wise and fatigue wise, they're just so high, and I'm even running at an easy pace. But even 8 miles, it's something in the bag. It's not what we wanted, but I'll do it. And we move onwards and upwards. Right, that's a wrap with just over 8 miles in the bag at a 9:04 pace, I think, per mile. Now, like I said before, not the session I really wanted today, and annoyingly, in my head I was done before I got back from the second loop. And then when I got back, I actually seen a friend getting into the lake and had a chat with him. I kind of got like a revamp of life again, which made me feel like I could have then continued to keep running and maybe done a bit more, but I was kind of like switched off at the point of doing it. And got me thinking as well, like triathlon's a lonely sport. It's not very often you'll get friends to offer to do the kind of distances with you that you need to train for. It's very rare that you actually get someone join you for a session. And I was just thinking then, like, if I had a friend join me, I definitely would have done the entire distance. But with that being said, speaking to my partner now, I think it's logical that I do stop today, just so I don't overdo it, and then make up some miles on my feet tomorrow after the bike. And I've got some reasons why I think today didn't go well as well, so let's dive into that now. Now, the first most obvious reason that I mentioned just now is that I didn't get a great sleep last night. I was up at 4 AM because Theo was awake, so we was just kind of helping him out. And actually, I've been looking at my resting heart rate on my watch, and over the last couple of days, it has spiked a little bit. I actually woke up, not last night, but the night before, with cold sweat. So I don't know if my body is, quietly fighting something off, hence the extra fatigue and the lack of will to do stuff. But I think that's definitely got something to do with the fatigue today. Thirdly, my gut was really not in a good place today. Let's just say I was very lucky there's toilets dotted around this lake because they were needed. So I've obviously ate a combination of foods that my body hasn't agreed with and upset my stomach in a way that's not beneficial for swimming and running. Then I think lastly, spending just over 7 hours in the car yesterday to collect the bike and seeing family and sitting on the M25 on a Friday afternoon probably somewhat contributed to the mindset side of things. Who knows? But overall, I'm fairly happy I've got the distance I did do today. I mean, you know you're in a good place when a 2.5k swim and an 8-mile run are a bad session. And I know physically I could have done more, just mentally just wasn't feeling it. So onwards and upwards we go again with a big bike ride tomorrow to make up for it. Hopefully get a good night's sleep tonight, some good food, fuel up, and we go and smash it, because we've only got 7 weeks left. 7 weeks. Whew. Okay, here we go. Out with the old and in with the new. And we have a visitor. Hello. Hello. So anyway, we're just doing a bit of work currently, making this road ready essentially. So added some water bottle holders and the bike pump just in case we get a puncture. Although one thing I am concerned about is that these rims are a lot deeper than those rims. So if I do get a puncture, I'm not sure the inner tube I have has a long enough valve to go through. But let's just keep our fingers crossed, because the bike shop is closed as it's early Sunday morning before I go out. Another thing I'm going to be doing is just adjusting the seat height slightly. And then I've noticed that there's a little bit of give in this front wheel, as it's a deep carbon wheel. There's just a little bit of give if I really push the bike to the side. So I'm concerned that if I'm climbing a hill and bringing the frame kind of side to side, rocking it side to side, that this wheel is going to rub these brake pads, because there's not really much space between the wheel and the pad at the moment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to widen this front brake a little bit, just to give it a bit more separation, just to prevent any rubbing through the front pad and the wheel there. And last but not least, you can see here with the TT bars that there's a spacer just here. Now the guy who sold me this bike was friendly enough to provide me with some additional bits there. He was a little bit shorter than me and a little bit of like a slimmer frame, so what I've done is I've widened these, as there's little holes here, you can make them wider or narrower. I'm a bit broader, so I've made the elbow pads wider. And then I'm going to add, as you can see it's quite low down at the moment, I'm going to add the spacer just to make this a little bit higher up. So I'm going to add, well, whatever that is down there, that spacer, just here. I'm going to add, I think it's about that's a 70mm spacer, and that one is only, I can see 20mm just there, if that focuses. This one's 20mm. So we're going to have a bit more ride height there, hopefully be a little bit more comfortable in that TT position, and be ready to rock and roll. Okay, just under 2 hours later and we are finally ready to go. So we've got the spacers on here, the watch is connected so I can see where I'm going without looking at my wrist all the time. Gels are in here, water is in here, and I've realised actually these kind of defeat the object of the whole bike being aerodynamic, because they're sticking out a lot. So I do need to make another purchase of the aerodynamic hydration packs that go with the Canyon bikes. Front brake pads have been adjusted. I've also popped the puncture repair kit here as well. And I realised I don't just have spare inner tubes, I've actually got the puncture repairs themselves. So if the inner tube, well, actually touch wood, if I get a puncture and the inner tube I have doesn't fit these with the length of the valve, then I can always just change or repair that puncture on the current inner tubes, but hopefully that doesn't happen. Now we are ready to go, and I also have a new addition as well of a aero helmet that a friend gave to me earlier this week. So we're going to wear that today to get used to this, and it's just also a bit lighter, which will be a little bit friendlier on the neck, because after my long ride a couple of weeks ago my neck was a little bit sore. My head's heavy enough as it is, so don't need any extra weight for that. Over 70 miles to bag today, let's do it. Okay, so we are 1 hour and 15, 20 miles in, with a lot of climbing in that first hour, and just look at the day we have for this ride. I wanted to stop quickly, as I'm absolutely loving this, to share my thoughts on the bike. Wow! 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 What an absolute machine! It is so quick and smooth to ride. A lot of the flats I've had, one of them just being like a 6 mile flat on a road very similar to this, really nice smooth concrete, I was averaging like 26 miles an hour with ease. It just felt like I wasn't even putting any effort in. I'm sure that'll change with 50 miles to go, or 55 miles to go I believe, but we are having fun. It's a good day for it, and it's going a lot better than what I did yesterday, for sure. So we're going to take on the first bit of nutrition now and continue on the ride. Hopefully the weather stays like this. I can't see a cloud in sight, so that is good. How stunning is this? I have no idea where I am, but I like it. One of my favourite sounds on this bike. Oh.